Hello and welcome to part 3 of 3 looking at the reports area on SAM Learning. If you'd followed parts 1 and 2, we will have looked at this particular area of the reports tab so far, pulling whole cohorts of students, particular subjects, and also looking at disadvantaged students within a cohort as well. In this particular example, we looked at pupil premium learners. But now let's take things a step further, because at the moment within this report you can only see the average scores in the overview per student. But let's take Jacob here as an example. He spent 4.5 hours on SAM Learning activities during GCSE Science, but he's only achieving at the moment a 32% average score on the revise activities that he has completed, whether set by staff or done as independent learning activities, which is why it's giving him this red RAG rating right now. So either as his teacher or head of department, I might want to know what Jacob is struggling with so that we can make an improvement on this particular average score rating. So to be able to see Jacob's report, I can click on his name. And once I've done that, it will then take me to a next screen where I'll be able to then see, to start off with, all of the activities that Jacob has completed so far this academic year across every single subject. We only want to focus on one, and that's science. So let's select that out from the subject drop down menu, GCSE, Science. Make sure that you hide the linked activities and then click apply. And then everything to do with science, as you can see with the path to activity area on the right hand side, now appears. Like the whole group of students as well, you'll be able to see individual student reports as well to see, for example, how many points they've gained in the SAM Learning world so far and how many trophies they've also gained in the SAM Learning world, as well as the other information that you could see on the previous screen. So what I would do from here then is I would then filter out the RAG rating. So I'm going to click on the RAG, and then all of my reds will then come to the top here. So what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for some revised activities. So I can see that straight away with atoms, for example, he's made one attempt at it and has achieved 14% so far. So this is clearly an area of issue for the students. Looking as well further down, I can see that he's got struggles with covalent bonding at 34%, and pollution from burning fuels at 43%, and so on and so forth. Now if I wanted to maybe sit down with the students and just look at some of these in a little bit more detail, I can pull up this report, I can click on the activity, and it will open up the activity for me. So then I can sit with the student and just go through in a little bit more detail which areas they struggled with. If we look further down, so if I just go a little bit further down to the bottom here, we'll then see all of our green activities and also amber activities where appropriate as well. So we see where the contents lies and the concepts lie that the student is comfortable with. So in this particular case with smells, even though we're not quite at 80% yet, we have done quite a number of attempts at this, started at 3% and now ended up at 64%. So even though it is a lot of attempts, we can see that the progress is being made by the student and to really get to grips with that particular concept. Also as well, like on the previous page and like I showed in the previous video, you can also export the individual student reports as well. So if I click on the export button, again I will get a spreadsheet downloaded for that particular student based on the date range and the filter that I'm looking at, and that will look like this. So I'll be able to see from here whether it's a piece of key content, I'll be able to see the type of activity it was as well, and also the activity name. So if I wanted to, for example, apply some filters along this area here and filter this out. I might want to just see what kind of work that the student has been doing on exam papers. So I can filter out the exam papers like I just did there. And then it will give me as well the number of attempts, first, last and best score for them, and the RAG rating for it as well. Also, if you wanted to go searching for the activity itself, you also have the path to the activity. This particular spreadsheet can be handy when you're doing revision sessions with the students if they're in year 11, so you can pinpoint and actually show them and give them this spreadsheet so that they can see which areas it is that they need to improve. But also as well, if you're thinking about using this in a more structured way and a reporting way, you could also make this part of a homework report for a student or a parents' evening report for a student as well, so that you can show the parents how much they've actually done on SAM Learning and looking at their success rates as well.